Thank you, Emily and Alan, for joining us. We're so excited to have you today.
We're excited to be here. Thanks to you.
Yeah.
I'm so happy unwrapping is coming back.
I know.
Yeah.
Glad to
We-
be part of it.
We hibernated for a while. Hibernated.
Hibernate. So tell us about yourselves. Who are you? What's your winery? How did you get involved with the Ledge Blanc project?
Yeah. So I'm Alan. This is Emily, like you just said. We're part of Mixed Media Winery, which is part of Hatch Distilling in Egg Harbor, Wisconsin, which is part of Door County. If you don't know where Door County is, if you do the little fun hand trick and your thumb is sticking out, that's the peninsula that sticks out into Lake Michigan. We're a historic fruit growing region of Wisconsin, tart cherries and apples and strawberries and grapes. We've been in the winemaking professionally speaking since 2012. Before that, we were natural resources, having fun building trails and doing
Cool.
invasive species work.
Back when all the funding was getting cut from it, so then
Yeah.
we pivoted.
Yeah, we worked off a lot of grants and that kind of thing. And every time we get nixed from our LTL or
LTE
LTE
jobs,
jobs, we would find a bottle of wine, and that's what really got us hooked on that side of things.
And we were living in Washington State at the time, which
Oh,
really got us into like branching out from, grocery store wine, coming from small town Wisconsin, where it's kind of a different wine experience and you just drink a lot of beer.
But
cool.
my first gig was with Galena Cellars, working under legendary Christine Lawler over there in the bottom part of the Driftless area. Got to learn a bunch of stuff from her and her palate and all the people that would come to visit her. And then I worked up here in Door County. We both did for Door Peninsula Winery, which is a really large, one of those historic older wineries from all the way back from the 70s. It does every single kind of wine, from dry cabs from the West Coast to fruit wines to hybrid wines to meads, like every single kind of wine that you can think of at that place. But Mixed Media started in 2022, and we've been at it since then.
Yeah,
Cool.
we moved over to there to focus just in on the, like we were saying, Door Peninsula does so many stuff. Not like we succeeded at having less labels because we have a million of wine,
Yeah.
but we wanted to really focus on the hyper local stuff. So we're using all Wisconsin Ledge
Okay.
grapes. We use local honey, blend other local fruits in. We do ciders, but yeah, everything comes from up here where we're at to kind of get people talking about Wisconsin terroir.
Very
That's
cool.
amazing. Okay, so everything's within a close radius.
Yeah, the furthest ingredient we've brought in we got black currants from Wazeeka, Wisconsin, which is down by Prairie du Chien. So
Mhm.
that was
Where's that on the hand label?
like right like over here.
Okay.
Yeah, we're up here.
Right in the heart of the
Okay.
Driftless area.
Yeah.
I went to grad school in Michigan and they do the hand thing too. And I did
Yeah.
not realize Wisconsin did the same thing. So I
Okay.
learned something
So
else.
I-
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. I think I was out in Unified one time doing the hand thing to a bunch of California guys, and I'm like, this is weird, right?
You know what? It works though.
Yeah.
It works. So
Otherwise, if you're
It
talking to
does.
people in California, all you can say is like 5 hours from Chicago. And like that's like the only
Mm.
context you can give people about the
Yeah.
Midwest is your drive to O'Hare is like
Yeah.
what people understand.
Honestly,
Yeah.
that's kind of amazing. I assumed that you would be further than 5 hours. That's awesome that
We're only like 3 hours from Chicago.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's an easy day trip from
Yeah.
Chicago. Awesome.
Yeah.
And is the Washington Island off the tip of Door Peninsula? Is that
Yeah.
did I have it right? Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Wisconsin, we don't think wine, just like when you say Iowa, you don't think wine. Wisconsin is, you think Green Bay Packers, right? I assume you're Green Bay Packers fans. I don't know. But no? Okay.
Oh,
Edit that one out. You think beer, you think cheese kind of stuff, I don't know if it's still
Mhm.
America's Dairyland, but I think your license plate still says it, right?
It does.
Mhm.
And now we got wine in Wisconsin. And so when you think of Wisconsin wine, what's the stereotype and does that fit? Is it what you're doing counter to the stereotype? Just kind of enlighten us a little bit about the Wisconsin wine world.
Yeah, the Wisconsin wine world is a lot like any other wine region that's not the West Coast, not California, Oregon, or Washington. We're very, very diverse in wine. We make it all, just like a lot of the regions do when they're trying to find their footing. But Wisconsin is really known if you're just a novice person jumping into the wine world and you know we make wine, is fruit wine. Probably the most famous fruit wine that we make in Wisconsin is cherry wine, but we make a
Hmm.
lot of cranberry wine too because we grow a ton of cranberries in Wisconsin. But it's definitely sweet fruit wine.
Yeah, and I think that too lends itself a lot to like so many wineries. Like it's not a big industry in these like emerging regions, you know? So like everything is kind of mom and pop shops. People start up their small like farm businesses. So people's impression is just the things that can be done at scale and is visible everywhere. So like Door Peninsula's cherry wine, you can find it anywhere in Wisconsin pretty much. Like it's at Walmarts and
Yeah.
like Quick Trip, you know, because we have that much of that fruit. The grape
Yep.
industry is just way too young to have any kind of visibility on the same scale. So I think people just kind of don't know it exists until they find like their little local winery and they might think that's the only place doing it. Because, you know, it's not like where you have the massive infrastructure and stuff
Yeah.
like these like older, bigger wine regions that are selling their California cab to every grocery store in the country, you know, like we don't have that anywhere. So it's
Yep.
hard to find
Yeah.
all these wines a lot.
Hmm.
Yeah. And we have older wineries. Our first commercial winery after Prohibition is Von Schiele in 1967. We had a bunch of wineries open up in the 70s, and we have really large wineries. We have wineries that are size 100,000 cases, and we have really small wineries. But yeah, it's definitely uh, not viewed the way we want, and we know it is.
Of course, you do have that cherry industry that's historic and cranberry industry. So I mean, obviously, it makes sense to, not use that, right? But yeah, you got other
Mhm.
things going on too.
We love our fruit growers, so we love our cherry wine and cranberry wine.
So, as a person from the landlocked state of Iowa that is not bordering the Great States, which or Great Lakes, excuse me, I wish we had Great Lakes. What,
Great.
what
Which great state are you talking about,
we do have a
Randall?
great state,
Wisconsin.
Ian,
You're
but
bordering the great state of Wisconsin.
yeah, that's true. We do
That's
border
true.
the great state of Wisconsin. What I'm assuming, your weather, your topography, soil is probably very different from us and maybe even from the West Wisconsin. So what about where you're growing? And I believe you guys refer to it as the Ledge. It's like an AVA kind of thing. So American viticulture area. What makes it different and unique compared to maybe the macro Midwest or even macro Wisconsin?
Yeah, the Wisconsin Ledge AVA is named the Ledge because it runs along the Niagara Escarpment, like the ledge of that limestone bedrock underneath. And we have really, and then we were glaciated up here, not we grew up in the driftless side, so this has been like,
Southwest.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's got like a very different vibe than over here, where you've got thinner soils. You still have that like karst topography under there for drainage and stuff, but a lot more like glacial till instead of like the deep like old soils that you get like in the
Okay.
farmland and the rolling hills and stuff.
Yeah, it's the dolomitic limestone called the Niagara Escarpment. It starts just north of Milwaukee, runs right up against the lake shore. If you see a map, of Wisconsin, you'll see a lake called Lake Winnebago. That's our western end, and then Door County is all part of the Niagara Escarpment. But then it keeps going. It makes the bottom part of the UP, and then it makes the
Yeah, that
goes.
ridge of rock runs over and becomes Niagara Falls is like the terminus
Yeah.
of
Okay.
that escarpment. It's like
Yeah,
this big arc that goes up and like across. Oh, what's the other? Erie? Like, what's the other?
yeah, it's on
Yeah.
top of Erie.
Yeah, on
Well,
top of Lake Erie, and then
Yep.
so
So
it's like a
is
big.
most of the Ontario grape industry on the Niagara Escarpment too? So you're
Yeah.
just kind of wrapping around kind of
Yep.
thing?
Yeah, we haven't been. That's on our bucket list of like other fun wine regions, but the like Ontario Peninsula, we really want to go there because I think they are much more similar to us, what they're probably growing and doing wise than we are to the rest of Wisconsin
Okay.
because of the lakes
Hmm.
and the similar soils and stuff
Mhm.
and moderated.
Do you get kind of moderations in temperature from the lake? I know in Michigan, maybe they get more because it's on the east side, but do you get some moderation in temperature from the lake, or what does that look like?
Yeah, you nailed it there because the wind, the predominant wind is moving from the west to the east. So that West Michigan is where you're getting a huge effect from Lake Michigan. But because the Niagara Escarpment dives. It's higher on the like the north and west side, and then slopes down into Lake Michigan. We get a really good circulation of air. You know, when the lake is warmer than the land, it's rising, moving the air off of our land, you know, into the lake and then reverse. So we
Hmm.
have a lot of great air movement because the lake is right there. And then the closer you get to the lake, like if you're on the lake shore, it's a much different uh, temperature. Like hardly ever see anything over 80 degrees. Or
Sheesh.
up here in Door County where we have the bay on one side, which keeps us. I don't know if you guys are having any issues with it, but like early bud break in spring is really not a thing here
Okay.
in our area. You
Yeah, like,
know,
we're just in bud swell now. Bud break is usually like in a month from now.
Mm.
Wow.
So so we have like a lot of, so like I'm not done
Yeah.
pruning yet, and that's not, I mean, it's not great. I meant to be done this week, but it's not terrible. I
Yeah.
just,
Yeah. And then at the same time during the growing season, because the limestone, the Dolomitic limestone is not that far, we have pretty thin soils. Like during those nice summer days, because we're at the 45th parallel up on the northern part of it. So we get
Okay.
a lot of sunlight. It warms up that rock. And even though like maybe you guys see your phenolic ripeness at a much higher bricks than what we do, our phenolic ripeness is they're ripe, but the are lower
No.
because we
Hmm.
get the sunlight, we get heat, but it's a shortened window. Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned that you have similarities to like Ontario, for instance, because they're on the same escarpment. Are there other regions of the world that people might be familiar with that you would say that your wines are similar to, like or your climate, your soil type, shorter, cool climate, growing seasons? Do you have any similarities?
Yeah, definitely not, which is really cool. We like it because it was our own area, but we have like pieces of it. So we're a cool climate region. So you can say like Washington or Finger Lakes or like Alsace or something like that. But we don't have like the exact same recipes as
Mhm.
any of
Yeah.
those. Like we have limestone like Burgundy, but we're not like Burgundy. And we have yeah, the mineral the alkaline soils. But we have pieces of really cool winemaking, but we put them together a different way. You know, they're probably
Mhm.
this most similar. You know, you jump over to the western part of Michigan is very similar to us, but then they don't have the alkaline soil that we have, so
Okay.
there's
Mhm.
really no one for one.
yeah, and I think the biggest thing that throws the wrench in that not being a direct one-to-one is we only have hybrid grapes growing
Yeah.
here. We know a couple of people that have little bits of vinifera in pockets that
Wow.
are doing okay. But like Western Michigan, Traverse City, Petoskey, like they have a lot of vinifera over
Yeah.
there. We do not. And so I think and that's part of why the Ledge Blanc project was born too, is because we have all these things other wine regions have, but because no one knows what hybrid grapes are on a broader scale yet, like we need a way to talk about it. So this is a way to like and bring us together to learn more about what our region is too and how to answer that question better in the future. But I think our different fruit is like a fundamental, like it's a standout, you know, like it's
Yeah.
gonna make a big
Yeah.
difference at the end of the day to like just flavor profiles overall.
Yeah, and it's a cool area because of that same reason. We're a hard zone five.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so like that's perfect. Like anything like the new grape clarion is gonna do fine here. Like and our
Mhm.
seasons stay true. Like our summer is our summer, our fall is in our fall. So yeah.
I don't know. You said it didn't get above 80. I don't know if that I classify that as summer weather, but so in contrast to Traverse City, you probably have a shorter growing season, right?
Yeah, I think they like to get up to like 22, 24 growing degree days. We're hanging around the 2000 growing degree days.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah,
Mhm.
we're 3,500 easy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You believe they grow corn up here for some reason? I have no idea why.
Yeah, growing up down where we did, you come up here and you're like, why is this corn so little? Like it's like I'm taller than this corn. It doesn't make any
Leave the
sense to
corn
me
to
anymore.
Iowa, you know.
I know. We'll just grow grapes here. You guys keep the corn.
Well,
Knee
we're
high,
gonna grow grapes too, right, Ann? So
Good.
knee high by never.
Yeah.
the knee high by 4th of July thing, it's always way taller than that anyway. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
must be a Wisconsin thing. Knee high by the 4th of July, you're good at with Wisconsin corn. So
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
So you guys got an AVA, and are there multiple AVAs in Wisconsin, or is this the only one, or you got the
There's a
driftless
few.
one, right?
Yep, yeah. So there's the Upper Mississippi Valley, which is the largest ones in
Oh,
Iowa. It's
hey,
in
we're part of
Illinois.
that too.
Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, so
That's a big
that's a big
AVA.
AVA.
That's big.
Uh,
Yeah, it's big.
yeah, and then there's like a smaller one that's a kind of part of it called Lake Wisconsin, which is part of the Wisconsin River. If you know Wollersheim
Yeah.
Winery,
Mm.
that's kind of their AVA right there. So there's three.
Okay, wow.
Ours was started by a winemaker. He's got a little place down by Greenleaf, just kind of south of Green Bay. His name's Steve DeBaker. It's Trout Springs Winery. He did
Okay.
all the legwork. He's just a maps and climate and was interested. And back in 2012, just got all this together and petitioned and set up the region, kind of for us all to
Yeah.
play in and run with. So we're really lucky that that already existed.
Did that attract you guys up to this area, knowing that you had kind of this distinctness? And I, again, I'm going to be honest here. Every now I am somewhat snarky about some AVAs being just kind of lines on the map, because I think some literally the lines are highways, on some.
I think a little edge of this one is a highway just because it has to like cut across
Yeah.
somewhere, but most of it is lakes and rivers that border
Mhm.
ours.
And you gotta draw the line somewhere, right?
Yeah.
But from what it sounds like, from the way you describe it, it is definitely a unique thing, not just a random line on the map to call this a place.
Yeah. It is a super cohesive region. I think like, in long term future, I would see potential for them splitting a north and south because it's
Oh,
a lot colder the further you get up the peninsula.
Hmm.
So I think that like the couple people we know getting away with little bits of Riesling, they're in the southern half. So, like
Oh,
they
yeah, I
have
should
much
say
more
the
heat.
2000 is my growing degree days. It's not
Yeah, so it's
southern
not
part. Yeah.
everywhere. So they do get longer growing season, a little bit more heat accumulation further south. And yeah, so there's slight differences where I mean, anything you can keep dividing up to make more specific and more specific, but I think it's a really good starting point. And yeah.
Oh yeah, get back to your question. Yeah, it's one of the reasons we came up here. It's like it was well defined. We knew that the bedrock is what, and the lakes and the water were what make it, and it's a historic fruit growing region. Was really what drove us to the ledge.
And there was already wineries here that
yeah.
would hire us to, if we didn't have our own farm to start a winery on, you have to start working at other wineries. And there was a bunch here. So
Because it is a tourist destination for people. I mean, I
yeah.
went to my wife and I for a honeymoon went to Washington Island, I
Oh,
mean that's
fun.
that's what we did. So
Wow.
I I
Did you have the bitters?
I don't even know. That was like 20 years ago, man. So I don't know what you're talking about. So obviously
Yeah,
not.
Sounds like it's time to come
that's
back.
right.
Try some Ledge Blanc.
I was too overwhelmed from going through a wedding that I wasn't paying attention. So
Yeah.
That's right.
Randall's
what is
wifey, I
that?
don't know if you're listening or not, but
She's at a track meet, so yeah.
oh,
Yeah, we're a historic tourist area because of the cool summers and our
Yeah.
relative location to Chicago and Milwaukee to get up here real
Okay.
fast. It
City
makes
pollution.
vineyard work like I used to do the vineyards in
hmm.
Galena and the humidity and the
Yeah.
mosquitoes and all that stuff. And you come up here and you're doing vineyard work or harvest work. You have a jacket on when you're harvesting. It's like, oh, this is great.
Oh, that
No,
sounds
like
amazing.
Yeah,
like nighttime harvest is to keep the
yeah.
grapes cool. Like we're topping out at 70 degrees most days during
Yeah.
harvest and stuff. So yeah.
I want to know a little bit more about the bedrock. You guys said that you're growing grapes on the rock.
Hmm.
So I'm literally picturing like a big limestone rock that is like it doesn't have a lot of growth on it. And I'm picturing like few and far between plants. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Because I'm sure that's not actually true. So like what's it actually like to grow grapes on this bedrock?
Yeah, so the grapes are it's pretty wonderful. So I have good idea of like growing over in the Driftless area in here, and there is soil. It's not a ton of topsoil, but so there's soil on there
Mm.
before you get to the rock. And when you go to the water's edge or the escarpment, you'll see the big outcropping of this rock. But if you dig down far enough, you'll find it. It's really hard to put end posts and that kind of stuff in. But it's a wonderful thing for when you're actually like growing your grapes
Okay.
because it does because it's something like Frontenac and growing into like healthy corn soil, like you're just out there all the time.
The
Coleman
vigor.
those things, the vigor. Here it's
Mhm.
like we it's not like we're not doing anything, but we do much fewer passes. They get that
Mhm.
nice sun exposure. We can get the sprays into the canopy. They really, especially these guys that are naturally vigorous. This really does a natural way of like tempering them down.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in a normal year, do you have a lot of disease that you have to deal with, or are things pretty airy because of the wind and lack of
Yeah.
rain?
No, that's a great question, and it's we're doing the first steps of becoming or certified organic and that kind of thing, and
Mm,
that's something I really wouldn't have thought of in other places. That air is just it's not always windy; it's just always moving, and then the
hmm
canopy's always open. And we also have a very like we don't get a ton of rain; we get like the right amount, like 26 inches a year on, so that's an inch a week. But we have a lot of sunlight. Like the lake turns that air over, so it kind of makes this like opening in the the clouds.
Let's talk more about the Ledge Blanc project. It's not just you guys, right? Are there other wineries? How does the whole project work?
Yeah, so we're one of the three founding wineries of it. The other two are what was Parallel 44 and Door 44. They're kind of consolidating to just Door 44 now. And then that's was in Kiwani and now will be up by Sturgeon Bay, Carlsville. And then Anchored Roots Vineyard and Winery is up in Egg Harbor. And yeah, we just all came together with the idea of, um, kind of how we mentioned before, like a lot of winery businesses are like very um like agritourism, like people want to come to the farm and like there's a lot of entertainment, to it, which is fun and valuable and like a good thing to have. But I think what gets glossed over a lot is we don't lead with talking about our wines all the time in regions like this because I think too, because every winery is so different and has their own like thing they specialize in or like they've planted certain varietals and like so every place really does have a unique identity, but when we started looking at all of them, like everyone already had a wine like this, like
Yeah.
it is something that was naturally tying together, like there's enough of these varietals being grown here and grown really well by a lot of growers and being made into really nice wines by a lot of wineries already. Like when we started this, we're like, we should just go to all these wineries, buy which one we think would qualify as Ledge Blanc, and be like, invite everyone to be like, come, you guys just change the label on this wine, and we could all just run with it. So it kind of was like already showing itself as our common, um, like factor to like start the conversation, and then from there you can be like, and then from there we specialize in this or we do this, and then, you know, Alan likes to call it like improv, like a yes and wine, like we all have this and we all
Yeah.
do,
Mhm.
kind of a
Mm-hmm.
conversation starter.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is the Ledge Blanc?
You got it. So Ledge Blanc is a name of a wine. It's a crisp, aromatic white wine made from certain types of grapes that has a quality control aspect to it. So we
Mhm.
can both, make sure our wines all taste good, but also put that out to the consumer to say this is a quality wine that we did not judge. We have a panel of five judges. They're somms or wine shop owners or winemakers that aren't in the Ledge Blanc program and they'll score the wine. We have a 90-point score thing just because we're in the wine world, so we had to make it 90. Um, it has to score 90 points, otherwise it can't be called a Ledge Blanc. You get three opportunities to do that. And before we even do that judging, we all come together as winemakers and we try each other's wines to
Mm,
help each other get to the point where they will pass. And this is also
Cool.
an opportunity for us to figure out what the Wisconsin Ledge actually tastes like. We could taste your La Crescent compared to all of our La Crescents and slowly figure out what the terroir of the Wisconsin Ledge is actually doing to these grapes. Because you can go to the University of Minnesota's website, see what La Crescent's supposed to taste like, and be like, yeah, I find that in this wine. But we
Yeah.
really want to dial it in and be like, if you're here, this is what you're going to experience. And that's why we picked five grapes, really confident grapes, La Crescent, the two Frontenacs, uh,
St.
Itasca,
Pepin.
and St. Pepin. But Yeah, and they have a lot. They've been doing really well in this area. The wine's been made really well there. Um, yeah, so it's a unifier for us. It's a way for us to keep talking to each other. It's really wine focused and grape focused and region focused.
I love that there's that collaboration that you're working with each
Yeah.
other to make sure that everybody's going to pass before they
Mhm.
even get to the
Yeah.
point of submitting.
I think that was my
Um,
favorite part. Like, we'll just sit down together and try all each other's. And they're young, like unfinished wines and stuff. So, like, none of them are great yet, but you can start seeing the similarities. And then we take notes and we talk about what did you go through this growing season that might have been different here? Like, what did you see? So, like, it's really also like giving us information and research that we can like collect and like know everyone's harvest parameters and like really
Okay.
so then when you ask us those questions about what region is this, like we'll have better answers in the
Yeah.
future if we start doing this now, because I think it's really needed in young regions to like, if we want to talk about it this way.
And you guys know just as well as us that we only get one shot every year. A brewer gets to
mhm.
make his IPA like 50 times a year and dial that in. But if we're doing it, six of us, 12 of us, and we can just talk to each other, it's like we're doing
Your
12
experience just
times.
like multiplies, like
Yeah.
if
Mhm.
you
Yep.
watch and participate a little bit in 12 vintages being made rather than just your one in your own little vacuum,
Yeah.
like
And people love somehow some way wine held on to this regionality thing through the Industrial Revolution. So people like talking about regions when they're talking about wine. And this really helps. If there's a quality standard and people will be like, this region has quality. I read it. It's in this little pamphlet. And like,
Hmm.
there's quality here, you know?
yeah, it's a way to push back against just like the perception that only California wine is good. But yeah, and whenever like that comes up, when people like start, like some people just want to come and drink wine and have a nice time, and that's why we
Yeah.
want to make sure we're all making quality wines. But for people who want to learn more about it, when you start mentioning this stuff, they get so interested because people just don't know, and I think it's fascinating. And that's like, yeah, we want to go to the Ontario Peninsula. And we met you in Missouri because we just like going to wine regions no one else knows about, and like we came home with 2 cases of like Chamberson and Traminette, and we're just like,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's fun.
Yeah.
You're
That's
speaking
Yeah.
our
awesome.
language.
Okay, so if a wine is Ledge Blanc, is it assumed that it's 100% Itasca or 100% La Crescent? Can you explain a little bit more about what that actually means if
Yeah.
it says
Yeah.
Ledge
So
Blanc?
yeah. So Ledge Blanc it's a stylistic wine grown right
Hmm.
here, but it doesn't have to be. It can be a blend. It can be 100% Itasca. It can be a like
These
we
are
we,
in
we
full breath.
actually yeah we actually use in our last blend six different grapes. Three of them were the permitted and the primary ones, the five that I mentioned before. But you can use other grapes because it's supposed to be your wine. My
Hmm.
wine's
Hmm.
not supposed to taste like Parallel 44. It's just supposed to be the
Mhm.
same style of wine.
Yep.
And there's like other parameters that are in there, like this isn't supposed to have oak to it, which is not a fault. It's not supposed to
Okay.
be foxy, which again is not a fault either. The not malolactic fermentation. This is supposed to be a
Okay.
crisp aromatic wine,
So like bright, lively, refreshing, approachable, something that we make
Mhm.
in the fall, we release for the summer, and it's yeah.
Yeah, one of the wineries is 100% St. Pepin, where ours is just a big blend because we wanted to be like a little chef in the kitchen.
Hmm. Dry, sweet, does it matter?
Yeah, so this is a balanced wine. It's on the dry side. You want to make sure
Okay.
we emphasize acid because we have great acidity. It's
Yeah.
something that for the longest time we've been hiding from, but it's like why hide from that? It's just an amazing feature that we have that we don't have to add it. Like when you're watching those videos of California and they're chucking the tartaric acid in there, we don't have to do that. Like
Yeah.
we
Yes,
have
so
it.
true.
Yeah, and we wanted to emphasize that. But so these wines are going to come since they have that fruit characteristic. There's going to be this perception of sweetness, but these are not sweet
Okay.
wines.
Yeah, they can have some residual sugar, but it's to not have a perception of being overly sweet, kind of in the judging notes. But we've had people try ours, which we had one that was zero RS, and two people drank it next to each other, and one was like, "Oh, it's too," like they said opposite things because it's just the drinking experience, and one's like, "Oh, it's sweet," before she even drank it because it's an aromatic, like fruity wine, so you get a
Hmm.
lot of like fresh fruit, floral notes, and so it balances in there, that like sweet spot.
Yeah, the idea is like you measure your TA, and if be able to match that TA with RS, like is a
Okay.
permittable thing, but it's not supposed to come across as sweet.
Okay. I love that.
Well, I was just in Texas where there is no acidity in their wine and fruit, so very different world. So yeah.
I feel like I'd want acidity if I'm in Texas, like in
Yeah,
the
right.
heat. Like,
Yeah,
I
they're
don't
adding it.
know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a challenge
That's
for
a
them.
yeah.
They're
So,
chucking it in, like Alan said.
yeah.
I remember my first winemaking job. I saw a bag of malic acid, and it's probably 30 years old. I'm just like, what do you even do with that?
Yeah.
No,
Right.
nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's so true. I have a bag of unused malic and tartaric acid too. A bag of each. And
So
Just in
it never
case you
gets used,
need
like
it,
just
you
in
want to have
case.
it, but
Hmm.
What I like about what you're doing is number one, it's tough for wineries to market other wineries, right? Like you want to spend your own marketing on your own winery, but in a sense, by doing something like this, you are helping each other out because, like I say, you got a style, so you can help each other out. But on the other hand, you're still marketing your own products. I like that. Um, what I always struggle with is when we have these, um, we have no problem calling them cold hardy hybrids or whatever, but how do are we getting too nerdy on that? Are we scaring people away by saying the word hybrid? Should we just call them wine grapes or do like a style of what you're doing? And I guess how important was it choosing grapes that did well for your area rather than just, well, I like the flavor of this one, let's choose that one.
yeah, I mean, it's
That's a lot of
like this.
questions, sorry.
That's right. I mean, it's really postmodern. It's like they were this model is in Europe. Like
Yeah.
they just had a long time to do it and figure out by
Hmm.
accident that Pinot Noir does well in Burgundy. You're like, okay, but they did like they don't they name it after their region, which is a really cool thing, and it really helps your region like not force anything. The square peg round hole. Like what our region can do well, what your guys' region can do well. It's like this is more fun, it's more cultural. It's like and it drives people to move from area to area. Like it would be fun to go down to Missouri and try their wines, their regional wines. And when you do a varietal show, when you choose varietal, that one, it's like ecologically, that's probably not the best idea in the world. Two, it really forces the wine to be grown in certain areas, raising the price of that wine, like, and the access to that wine. It's just boring. Like, but it's very important to choose the right grape for your area. We
Yeah.
could probably grow some kind of vinifera here, but why?
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
like the inputs to do something that's not like suited to where you're growing things to me is like just really off-putting, like to work hard
Yeah.
and like and maybe we lucked out that we can't grow vinifera. So we're like, well, we're just working with the hand we're dealt because
Hmm.
when we've been to Michigan where they have both, we were asking everyone we talked to, like, what is the perception or how do you guys do this? A lot of people just blend it into their vinifera and don't address it, but a lot of places just varietal label the hybrids and don't make a distinction, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But then
yeah,
some places have vinifera that is named and then fanciful names for their hybrids. So there's like still
Hmm.
Yeah.
like I think people trying to figure it out.
and why try to force something like you go to a normal wine drinker? Do they know the Nebbiolo grape? And that's been around forever. Like Cab Franc. It's like they
Yeah.
only know a few different kind of grapes. So why even try to force people to
Yeah.
understand the names of our
Yeah.
grapes unless they ask about it? Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think like we've kind of come around to like we just say the name of the grapes, what they are, and then if they're a blends, like we just give it a
yeah,
name that fits the blend or whatever. And then if people don't recognize it or ask what that is, we're like, oh, well, that's a hybrid grape, and like explain like that's not GMO. I think a lot of people are scared by that. I think that's
Hmm.
kind of
Yeah.
well, I don't know if it's changing because I'm probably in a vacuum because I only talk to people who know what hybrid grapes are. So I don't know what most people would think about that. But oh, I lost my train of thought
yeah.
there.
But they are wine grapes.
Hmm.
There's no need if you
Yeah.
lead with something in front of the word wine grape, that's what people are going to
Oh,
focus on. They're going to
Yeah.
think of cold hardy before they're ever going to think of wine grape. So just say wine grape later on in the
Yeah.
conversation, be like, oh, these are cold hardy too, and disease resistant and all these other
that
Hmm.
the diseases, I think the part that is the easiest to talk about hybrid grapes is from that sustainability angle
things.
because I think that is becoming increasingly important to people and they
Yeah.
want that. And so if they're like, you don't grow cab, we're like, no, that doesn't grow in our region. We have grapes that are bred with our native grapes that can survive the climate because they're already part of the ecosystem. Like they just do better on their own, which makes like less inputs, which makes less costs to pass on to
Hmm.
consumer, makes less like, you don't know how your $2 chucks and
Yeah.
things are getting farmed. And I think people want to know that now.
Yeah.
So like I think
Yeah.
that is a really easy way to just explain to people like, oh yeah, it's just like natural selection where we selected for qualities that do well here and for flavor. Like we're not sacrificing flavor
Yeah.
to get those benefits. Like we're
Hmm.
choosing things that also make wines we like to drink.
And the cool thing of naming your wine after a region, like a regional wine name, is you're already talking about what's cool about it. You're talking
Yeah.
about the land. You know, if you say La
Hmm.
Crescent, it's very broad. Where's this grown?
Right.
But you lead with Ledge Blanc, you're already talking about the Wisconsin
Yeah.
Ledge AVA.
Yeah.
That's
And
really cool.
so, do you still have people that assume all non-European varieties are like Concord-esque? And I'm not
Yeah.
dissing Concord. Even in New York, it's the number one wine grape, you know.
Hmm.
And so I'm not disrespecting Concord. I've worked in Concord, but I think it's a bit of a lazy take when people just say, "Oh, it's foxy," and I push back on that a lot because I think a lot of people say that they're all foxy, and a lot of the varieties that you have in your mix are not at all.
Hmm.
Yeah, that does tend to be more of like most of well like University of Minnesota's like riparian based hybrids like Vitis riparia, not even
Yeah, not
they're
Foxy.
not even the fox grape.
Mm.
Like, so we don't have those flavors really in a lot of our stuff
Yeah.
much up here at all. I think that's just people who have only heard once about hybrid grapes, and that's the thing they've heard about it, and that's
Yeah.
their talking point to repeat. And I don't even think a lot of them have tasted a quote unquote foxy wine.
But yeah, you can pinpoint a West Coast winemaker and they'll come and they'll be like, yeah, you want to try this Foch? And they're like, oh, it's Foxy. I'm like, it's not Foxy at all.
No, it's not. No.
Ledge Blanc is really cool because we're not forcing anything. We're not
Yeah.
trying to make it taste like different region. Like we're not trying to make it white burgundy. We're trying to make it what it wants to be.
Hmm.
Ironically, when I used to teach, I would sometimes have classes with the winemakers in them, and I did blind tastings of Riesling and like a fairly early harvested Edelweiss, which does has some Labrusca foxy flavors, and a significant number of people could not tell which one was Riesling and which one was Edelweiss when you take the label off and you have a Edelweiss, which can get foxy, harvested early. You know, if you're told or you believe something's in something, you're gonna search for it. I mean, that's why people put label descriptions on, right? You know, I mean, I'm not a winemaker, I don't write labels or anything like that, but it's pretty amazing. People find what they want to find if they have a preconceived notion. So yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Power of suggestion.
yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
That how marketing works. Yeah,
Hmm.
Yeah.
I don't
Hmm.
know.
Yeah, so we're trying to pull it down by naming it after a region and talking with, and then we're trying to get that halo effect too. This is a leading, it's a style you can lead people with,
yeah,
and trying to make it so like, hey, this is a quality wine right here from a known style. So
Hmm.
the rest of the lineup, even though they're not quality assured or anything like that,
yeah,
it's like be confident in what we're doing.
Yeah.
Start
Like
here and work.
if you've had that winemaker's Ledge Blanc and you know that they can pass the quality, like that they can make a quality wine, you're gonna assume they're making more quality wines, like
Yeah.
besides just the one that they're getting like through this process. And then you don't have to try to like think of a system to because a lot of wineries up here have as many labels as we do, like no one's making
Hmm.
just like four wines. Like it's not like that out here. So it's really hard to try to do any kind of quality assurance program for grapes in these regions, for things like that. So by just like zeroing in on one thing, I think simplifies the conversation a lot and gives like direction and focus.
Yeah, and we're a Midwestern, and so I'm sick of just saying, "Oh, sorry, it's a hybrid." Oh, sorry, it's like I'm not really sorry.
It's a
Yeah,
hybrid. Oh, sorry, it's
yeah,
Wisconsin grown.
yeah,
Like we're not sorry, but we just know they expect
yeah,
something different,
yeah,
So like I think that's been a lot of people's like lead into
yeah,
wines in new regions is like, sorry, this isn't a cab, or
yeah,
sorry, this
yeah,
isn't. And then people will say like, well, this is our version of a cab. And I'm like, that Marquette's not going to taste like they want. You're like misleading. Like then they have the wrong expectation, like you're saying, and they're
Hmm.
going to be disappointed
yeah,
in the Marquette when Marquette's good, you know?
Hmm.
Mhm.
yeah.
So
It's good as Marquette.
That's right.
yeah.
you got the Chicago area nearby you, huge wine market. You have the sommelier types and, big wine consumer area. If you had to like very succinctly, and I know you've kind of alluded to this already, very succinctly make a pitch to a sommelier in Chicago, how would you describe the Ledge Blanc style if you're making a pitch to that type of crowd?
Yeah, so we chose this style because you go over and open up a wine book, crisp aromatic whites exist.
It's a
Like,
category already.
yeah. So we start with that. We'd be like, this is crisp aromatic white wine. And then we move from there, be like, this passes the
Yep.
control thing. Restaurants have always been the hardest thing for
Yeah.
winemakers. And Ledge Blanc, we've been able to get that into restaurants just for the same
Cool.
reasons. Like, this has got
Yeah.
quality behind it. It's a style category that you already have. It's very approachable.
And I think it hits to a lot of people with high acid, food friendly wine that can be paired with a lot of things.
Hmm.
Um, so this can go with a lot of foods, which is really great for restaurants. By putting Ledge Blanc and giving them a catchy name, we're excusing them from the educational portion because no one can train their staff. The like wines up here aren't like well known enough, I don't think, for
Yeah.
like your casual person to know how to sell them or talk about them.
The wine makes sense. So like when you're talking about people, we're in a cool climate. If you're
Yeah.
a wine
Yeah.
person, you already understand that a cool climate makes a crisp aromatic white. So it's like it's
Climate,
easy.
acid, aromatic.
Yeah.
It's gonna go well with food. Like the
Everything makes sense.
perception of like fruits and florals on the nose, like it can go with spice in a way other high acid stuff can't without like clashing too much. So it really like kind of it can do a lot.
Yeah, it's very easy.
Yeah, it's meant to be like
Yeah.
versatile and like approachable for everyone, but like still being like an elevated quality wine. Like we wrote something somewhere once where we wrote like we want it to be just as good at your Friday night fish fry as like in your fine dining experience. Like we want it to be like able to go anywhere.
Okay, so you mentioned that it's supposed to be an aromatic white, and you mentioned some fresh fruit, tropical fruits. Are there ever any like floral notes that come out of that? Is it too perfumed sometimes? How do you manage too much floral perfuminess?
Yeah, you'll get knocked on the judging scale if it's too perfumey, which is an easy thing, as you
Mm.
guys know. Like, if you're just like leaning on, Frontenac
Yeah.
Gris and Le Crescent, like great aromatics, but it can be like a little too much
Yeah, the
sometimes.
crescent
But
can be known for being like particularly perfumey. Some
mhm.
people do not care for that,
Hmm.
but
Yeah, so when we were trying it with each other, we're really trying to make sure it screams to you that it's an aromatic, refreshing, getting those, apricot, getting those like, tropical fruits, the white fruits and the white blossoms, but kind of at a not a muted one because we definitely want that, but not elevating to that next level where it's just like this is
Hmm.
just too much.
sure.
But yeah, that's part of the program.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
we have here, I just pulled up our website because I know I have this on here. Kind of like grabbed a bunch of tasting notes off of 1 year of our vintages to kind of give people an idea. So on like across several wineries vintages, we've had notes of like pear, kiwi, starfruit, lime zest, jasmine, lemon, green florals, pink grapefruit, orange blossom, white peaches, citrus, limestone. So like those aren't all
Hmm.
for one bottle, but like
Yeah.
that's kind of the combination of
Mhm.
words people are using.
We also have a bonus part of the wine, the judging scale for minerality. So we're trying to see if there is. We're giving it to the judges to be like, do we have minerality? And it seems like every time we've submitted these wines, each one of the Ledge Blancs have had some kind of
They're getting those bonus
mineral. Yeah,
points. So there is like a little
there's something there.
wet, gravelly, limestoney something
Mhm.
little.
So, you know, climate in our area is variable, right? Maybe not as much by you because you got the lake nearby. In a warm year versus a cool year, or has there been a year that you just think this is what Ledge Blanc is to a core, or do you believe because you have the ability to change up the variety makeup that you can be consistent every year? Or is that not even what you're trying to do? Are you trying to be consistent every year, or are you just trying to say, hey, this is what this vintage does, and maybe there's a certain one that you really liked?
Yeah, so we actually have that part where we all meet up to like talk about them, like our rough blends. We have a like option in our bylaws and stuff that if we all agree this year was insane and something happened and our grapes are all very different, it's gonna change the flavor and we'll like change
Okay.
our score sheet and adjust for that. The first year we all released a Ledge Blanc was the hottest, driest. Everyone's grapes got riper than you, like the acid started drop, like it was the least, like we're trying to feature the acid in our wines and it was the lowest acid. He's like, that's the lowest acid wine I've ever made in my life up here. And so it was really funny that the wine we're trying to feature like that, it threw us for a loop that year. But you can probably speak a lot more to the actual that winemaking part. But
No, and we encourage everyone to vintage date their wines, and we do
Okay.
want that uniqueness that wine does have. Like each year is a little bit different than the previous year. We do have consistencies, but we're still a continental climate with
Yeah.
maritime influence, so we're going to have built-in
yeah.
different vintages,
Yeah,
which is a lot of
we
fun.
do want like every year to like showcase the previous year's growing season and kind of to talk about that. And I think that, from a marketing standpoint too, that keeps people wanting to try it every year. Like you want to try all the Ledge Blancs every like all from all the different wineries to like experience the full like run the gamut kind of that, but then also from year to year just to like experience it and bring people
Yeah.
back and like creating that like event, like to try all the Ledge Blancs you can this year, like
And Ledge Blanc is just supposed to be like a device for people. So if your winery, if you are pride yourself on making a very consistent wine, you have the ability to do that. Like if
Mhm.
your winery, if you want your Ledge Blanc to taste the same every single year, the ability to blend is where they can take advantage of that. And you'd be like, oh yeah, so and so down the road, they like to nail this acidity and this aromatics every single year. That's what they do.
Or if they just decide that's their favorite expression and they always want to blend for those tasting profiles and like,
Or us, we just love it when every year is different. So
Yeah. It's such an amazing model. Do you think that there's other places in the Midwest that can do something like this?
everywhere. I want to see it everywhere.
All
Ledge Blanc
right.
everywhere or something similar, like a
No,
similar
just whatever
yeah.
program.
the same thing like for groups of people,
Yeah.
who know that they and
Mhm.
I and then too um we were talking to someone and they were like, "Oh, I'm jealous I'm not in an AVA." And I'm like, "I don't think that that's a precursor because like you said sometimes those are just lines around random
Yeah.
things, but if your neighbors that have similar fruit and conditions to you, just look at what you're all doing that you have that's already similar and then just get together about it and like
Mhm.
I think
I
that would be
think I
really
think it'd be
cool.
rad. I like going from place to place and just be like, this is our, like this is the Illinois red. And I'm like, oh, this is our Northern Illinois red or something like that. I'm like, this is
Yeah.
Yeah.
awesome.
'Cause, yeah, when you travel around to like other wine regions, it can be like hard to find out like what's the main thing there when we're looking for stuff. We're like, what should we be trying here? But like, so yeah, y'all get together and then tell me what
Yeah.
to come drink,
And
and
then,
I
and
would
then
love it.
it's difficult too because like we were down in Missouri and tasting the Illinois Chambersons compared to the Missouri Chambersons, you're like, they're different, like so naming it Chamberson gives me a clue of what the wine's gonna
Yeah.
taste like. But if you named it the Shawnee Hills Red, I'll be like, oh, I know what those are supposed
Okay.
to or relatively taste like.
You have a point. That's a really great point.
I don't know. Some things are tough, it's because you got a whole state. It's tough to having a whole state identity when literally
Mhm.
some of those are random lines on a map, And so I think that's where you guys have an advantage in that you got a unique thing that climate area that it's tough for someone like us to, where to draw the line of who's part of it or not part of it.
Yeah.
So you guys got a kind of niche there.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely can be done. Like Emily was just saying, is like if you guys are out, like you got a run of wines, and you're like, you know what, all these Marquettes are
Yeah.
tasting similar
Mhm.
and kind of different than that Marquette over there, and then that's the
Yeah,
line.
part of that too is like the cultural part of terroir, just like what are the winemakers in any given region like doing with their wines? Because that changes the wines just like the way people treat it just as much as, you know what I mean? And I think that that has its own regionality too, kind of.
Yeah, it is a lot easier when you can point at the Great Lake and say that's our boundary.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's easier to talk about for sure.
remind me again how many years you've been doing the Ledge Blanc thing, and then what do you hope it looks like in 5 years or whatever?
Yeah, it's really young, and it's just the first vintage came out in 2023. What
Okay.
we
Mm,
hope for is this is a very inclusive um, group. So anybody in the actually anybody in Wisconsin can technically be part of the Ledge Blanc. 85% of the grapes just have to be grown on the
Okay.
ledge. So
It's the
somebody,
fruit,
yeah,
yeah.
mm,
yeah. So what we want is just as many people that want to join this as possible because a region really it having numbers is what really drives that. And then it gets repeated. People are like, oh, I had a Ledge Blanc, yeah, down the road. It's like so. Then they hear that. So
yeah.
I want to see like every single winery in our area have one.
Yeah, and we
Okay.
started the first 2 years, there was the three wineries as we were like organizing ourselves. The first year was pretty informal, and then we started, putting all our procedures together and becoming an actual organization. And then this year we have six wineries. So
Cool.
we doubled. So we're really excited about that. We're all in talks right now, working out to have some kind of um, Ledge Blanc release weekend or event in the summer to kind of have events at multiple locations where people can try all the Ledge Blancs together. And so we're working on the details for that. So
Okay. And you
Yeah.
got some slick logos and social media going where you can follow it all. I like your logo.
oh,
You
thanks.
got everything kind of incorporated in there.
Yeah. Yeah, we really like it. It's got obviously the ledge that runs.
Yep.
Yeah, the ledge that runs right through it, light colors because it's a crisp aromatic white, and the five dots represent the five main grapes that we have. So
Okay, there's
it's
Mm,
meaning to it all. There you go.
so
There's light
clever.
colors.
that's right.
Okay, so if you could hand a listener one bottle of Ledge Blanc, um, you said that there's six different options right now. Are there hopefully more than that? No context, and you just said, "Hey, open this, friend." Which bottle of wine would you give them?
Oh my
And what do you
God.
want them to notice first? Like, what's the one takeaway?
Well, if we were handing somebody one of the bottles,
Trying to
one of
make
the
us
six.
choose one of the wineries bottles.
And
I
you put
haven't
them on
had
the
them all
spot
yet.
here.
I
So
did put you on the
I
spot.
can't say because I
No.
haven't had them all yet.
Well, this is great.
Ooh.
We have a really cool winemaker who joined it. He's one of the founders, Steve from Parallel 44. He's been really successful at the Cold Climate Wine. He's like winemaker of the year back to back to back years. Just really open with his knowledge and that kind of thing. He really loves these grapes. He's done a lot of stuff for it. His current Ledge Blanc scored the highest this year. Not that it's a contest or anything like that,
Yeah.
but
But if it was,
yeah,
he
he
technically
technically
won.
took it all. Yeah, he scored. I think he scored really high. But that it's really good, and I hate doing the comparison thing. But if you're just like
Mhm.
this Sauvignon Blanc drinker, you can jump right into his Ledge
Cool.
Blanc with very easy motion right into it. And having his Ledge Blanc will really lead you into the rest of the Ledge Blancs, like the
He's the
style.
Okay.
gateway, like
Yeah,
Blanc.
but he's done a really great job with the program.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Sounds delicious.
Hmm.
So you guys got website, ledgeblanc.com. You got Instagram. Do you guys have like Facebook and all that too? Or you
Yeah,
kind of
they're technically as like a meta account. There's a Facebook and
yeah.
Instagram. We mostly post
Yeah.
through Instagram. That's where I'd follow it right now. But
Yeah.
when we get an event planned, we'll create an event in Facebook and share. We'll do all those kind of things. But yeah, definitely that's the place to go for any updates
Okay.
is to the socials or straight to the website. Yeah.
And are a lot of these wineries just retailing and restaurant, or are they wholesaling at like grocery stores and wine retail shops where you can find it? Where is the bulk of this being
Yeah.
sold at?
We have a good combination of the wineries. One
Cool.
winery is just purely wholesale. One winery is purely retail, and then we have a mix of people like the bigger wineries like Parallel. They're in a bunch of the stores all around, and then we have big and small, so you can find it all over the ledge right now. Yeah.
Okay.
We hope
Awesome.
to someday have a list on that website, like a where to find. But we don't have that yet. Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough to keep track of too.
It is. It's
Yeah.
really hard to keep it updated and with six different wineries and you don't
Yeah.
know, you sell to someone and then they run out and you don't know and then people go
Exactly.
there and then
Hmm.
you don't want to like get people's hopes up. But
Yeah.
the website does link to every winery's page so you can find
Cool.
out how to get one from any individual winery. A lot of I don't know if all of the wineries, but a lot of them do like direct to consumer, like online sales. So you can
Okay.
get a lot of them just shipped right to you. We don't currently have, I would love to have a mechanism to like be able to order a collection of them, like order all the
That's
Ledge
tough.
Blancs, but
Yeah.
legally that's tricky to
Yeah.
figure out who sells that through where. But again, that's
Rules.
in the
I
future.
know, right?
Yeah. So
Hmm.
you just have to do the multiple transactions or just plan a road trip. Super
Yeah.
easy
Yeah.
to drive. Like I think from one end to the other is like under 2 hours. Like,
Celebrate wedding anniversaries.
yeah, come and do a anniversary
Trying to
road
think.
trip. Yeah.
Been
Especially big years like 20.
it's been
Yeah.
19, so we might
Ooh.
be knocking on the door in a year. So yeah,
Yeah.
and it's natural air conditioning because it doesn't get hot up there, right? So
Hmm.
yeah,
Hmm.
cool.
Perfect summer vacation.
Well, I think
Well, thank you guys
we're gonna
for
wind
joining
things
us.
down, and we very much appreciate your time. And if I don't know if you have any parting words, if so, feel free, and if not, we very much appreciate everything.
Got
No,
any
thank
words
you
of
guys.
wisdom?
Thanks for the Unwrapping Wine podcast. Like
Yeah.
as winemakers, you got earbuds in your ear all the time, so it's been super knowledgeable and like really fun to listen to.
Cool,
Yeah.
awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate that.